check it out.
Oh, goodness. Mining. Shifty shafts? Pickaxe? Yes.
That one time we were in a plane and we went for this and we started a fight because of it.
Big bonus?
No, it's a beast.
It's a beast.
It drops 200 wood
Zombies?
and stone and
Oh,
metal.
llama.
Wow. Superb.
Okay.
Excellently done.
Great job. When you have with this item, you can do 20 damage per hit.
Pistol.
No.
Pickaxe.
Yes.
You soar through the clouds in this.
Glider?
No.
Bus?
No. Vaulted in Season 8.
Airplanes.
Yep.
Okay. You swing this every game.
Pickaxe.
The waifu's favorite weapon?
Heavy sniper?
No. In playgrounds. YouTube videos. Embarrassing.
Pickaxe.
Yeah.
You thank him for doing his job. Bus driver. You thank the guy that drives it. It's blue, has a balloon. Batter bus. Damn.
Incredible stuff. I love those because they're back to back, and you know when you fall out with someone and you just don't want to look at them, but you know you're forced into a conversation. It's like, you're right, yeah, you. What's going on? Anyway, we like to have fun with these players, like we say, exactly, and we can see how they're getting on. Lots of fun with the guys, but now, gentlemen,
I'm just going to do the segment like
it's
this.
come on, man, come on, man. I mean, you've only just got back on the desk. It's down to serious business. Zacubus joining us once more with stress, of course, and Zacubus, I want to talk to you about this because we've got 3 players who are at the top of the leaderboard here, who are kind of leading the way, but anyone within that top 10 at the moment is still very much with a shout.
Oh, very much so. You know, we got Margin at the very top. We've got Vinny as well, and then Bizzle close behind that as well. 2 Americans trying to catch up to the Brit. But there are 2 more Brits out there in the top 10 that could potentially take it because, you know, there's some big points on the line on this last game, and they've got to clutch it up big time here, Stress.
Yeah, there are a few players on the peripheral points area. So the key number right now is 281 points for Margin. That's first place. Behind him, you've got Vinny, 275, so only 6 points difference. That's 1 elimination plus placement points that'll really shift that top. You look a little further down the list, I think, and speaking with some of the other casters, roughly 8th place for Ares is about where we expect without a massive game out of somebody, because that is a 63-point difference to jump to first and then relies on everybody else. So really the key places that you're looking for is 1 through 8 in this game. And even for Ares, I think it would be a miracle game to jump that high.
And you can see the standings here, as we say. Imagine sat on top at the moment. The Brit, I mean, it's a bit unfair, isn't it, really? We've got 3 Brits on the desk and he's sat on top of the leaderboard, but we all know how that usually ends up. So, I mean, looking down as well, you know, there's some players here that we maybe weren't expected to be this higher placed that are putting in fantastic efforts. We've got the Brazilian players up in the top 13 as well. We've had Victory Royales coming in today for the South Korean players. It really has been a festival of nationalities here, and all of them have performed. We haven't had any disappointment from anyone, really.
Absolutely not. It's been spectacular from start to finish. Everybody performing incredibly, incredibly well. And I'm just looking for some more stellar performances in this final game.
Yeah, it's such a congested field that as soon as you drop past that top 10, I'm pretty sure the next 30 spaces can just change in one game. Like, there's not that much big of a buffer in the middle of the pack either. So you look at the standings now, it could completely change by the end of this Game 7.
And we have to remember there's a $100,000 prize pool for this solos tournament. The first place taking home $20,000. So as if this final game didn't have enough stress put on it. Oh my God, sorry. You just nodded.
We lasted a whole weekend
without doing that, and then I managed to do it.
I'm so sorry.
Never mind. Enough pressure, better, on these players. That's got to start sort of coming into the back of their mind, or do you think that's kind of something they kind of push out and just think, look, it's all about just doing what I can in this game?
Right now, I think the top 10 are feeling pretty comfortable. They're going in very strong. They've got their game plans locked down. I mean, what's amazing is how Magin has just been adaptable this entire time as well. It's like he's been able to evolve his gameplay so much.
Here we go then. Ladies and gentlemen, it all comes down to this. Round number 7 is about to get underway, and to take you through the action, it's Stress and Zacubus.
Loading in with one of our top three. Bizzle is who we're watching for the start of round 7, the final round of solos action here at the ESL Katowice Royale. Imagine we're going to follow a lot of our top 3 in the early game. I made this request because it is such an important factor to be following the absolute points leaders. As we said, without a real upset in the beginning of the game, it's these 3 guys that are most likely to take home the victory royale for the entire tournament. And look at this Vinny gift to begin it.
Oh man, finding a llama straight off the bat. Vinny in a great position in 2nd place right now, and that is going to help that mat game completely. Also, you never know what you're going to get out of it. You could get a rift to go, you could get a launch pad, you're set. You find that llama, that has put you in a really good position. And
Bizzle's also in a good position as well. We've seen him win the early game around Dusty so often that really now is only him and Demo landing in that area and nobody else. Everybody else is just saying, oh, we're just going to back away. And they end up getting so much loot from the early game because no one's fighting them there. Meanwhile, over at Paradise, oh, the actual double elimination and nobody comes out ahead.
That was a bit disastrous there from both players.
Maxcalibur, I think he thought he had it at first, and then the post-elimination elimination.
Yeah. What happened, I think, oh, well, the action's kicking off somewhere else, actually. Retail, Tixi versus Nikov here, down here. And some good damage there for Nikov, but he's on the low ground, and he wants to find an attempt to push onto the high ground. Or maybe he'll just play it safe, farm up some mats inside the building, but he doesn't want to try. Oh, he's going. Oh, it's been pressured from above. Tixi with a great shot. But
that trade was insane back for Tixi. Ends up taking the elimination for himself, but a new challenger approaches as Llama comes in from the side. Looks like 72 Hours just doing what he can. I think he's ranked about 20th right now in the tournament. He's over by Volcano. This has been one of his common drops for the day. His Llama, as we said, was building in towards, I think it's Tixi that had won that previous fight down on the low ground.
Yeah, but it looks like he could be food here for Nikov down there. Oh, Tixi, sorry, my bad.
It looks like Llama actually lost health on the trade. Long-range clinger onto the tree. Got excited. I was like, ooh, maybe.
Yeah.
1 in a million throw.
It's the last game. Just make sure you get out, survive. Make sure that you can get as far as you can, and maybe you can find some loot somewhere else.
Envy here coming over the top, trying to find 72 Hours. Does find it with the first shot. That should turn this fight, but look at Envy's health. 72 Hours traded it back. Will rotate the ramp and look to try and get himself any sight that he can. He's trying to just peek over the top. Envy, there's an armor in the open, and Envy does go down to 72 Hours.
Very nicely played there from 72 Hours, just holding that high ground for as long as he needed, checking all the angles. I love how he turned his back, obviously using every angle to expose his opponent there. Very nicely done, and cleans it up very easily, and he's going to be happy jumping into the volcano.
Yeah, 72 Hours didn't really have too much competition around the volcano for the solos. I'm interested to see with the duos if he still ends up going there. Of course, duos is coming to you tomorrow and Sunday for our tournament. We are in the last round of solos here at the ESL Katowice Royale, and Far, one of the Brazilian players, is making his way towards both Aspect and Dementos. Dementos trying to just heal himself up with some of those potions. Through the top goes Far's shots, but I think Aspect is just going to back away and say, no, I need the placement points. I need anything I can get here, and just back away.
Yeah, maybe he'll re-engage, maybe, perhaps. We got into the cornfield here, and this is where Dementos has disappeared, playing it slow. Has to be careful. He's got no match stress. Big damage, no shotgun. Far could have messed that up.
Far over the top, though. That's where he's trying to look for. Far down to 11 health. If he can get just that one shot, he's only got the tack, though, so it's going to take a little bit more there. The building coming down, and Dementos trying to just pickaxe his way all the way through this. He knows he's already got the lead. The third party is Aspect. Picks up the elimination for himself and just runs away. Aspect's like, I'm out here, guys. See ya.
I mean, Dementos is gone. I mean, Aspect, brilliant timing there. I thought he might re-engage. It seemed to make sense. You know, he's at the bottom of the pack. He needs eliminations, and that was just a good excuse when that fight happened.
Yeah, Issa here, we're on for another fight as Issa's trying to find himself a little bit of space against Razaru. Razaru, I believe, is somewhere in the 20s, and we said that, you know, you can jump pretty high up here as Razaru is who we're watching with no explosives. 8 shotgun shells should be enough to take this fight, and it is. Edit through the top and easy pickings.
Nice clean pump shotgun to the face there, wraps it up nicely. We switch over to Zeke, and history in Paradise Palms, and things are really kicking off here, Stress.
Yeah, Zeke is going to try and replace that wall and get the edit, but he's not quite able to get it in time. Klinger through the roof. Kling, kling, kling. And Zeke is trying to pick up the elimination. Not to be for now. How many Klingers did he have? 6 from this exchange. Just trying to put the pressure down onto history.
Unfortunately, Zeke made a little bit of a fatal mistake there. He underestimated the strength of the roof. Natural roof tiling like that is about 500 HP, and of course the Klingers couldn't go through it in time.
Razaru is he caught. There's more Klingers coming out from Ares, and Ares was one of the players we were watching. Currently in 8th place. He needs 63 points to catch up. And Rover by football, Ares will pick it up. That's 5 points on the board, building towards his long chase.
Yep, 223 points there for Ares now with that lovely elimination. If he can keep up that pressure and keep his cool, he might be able to squeeze in a win perhaps. I mean, he's in the bottom end of the pack here. There is potential, but who knows?
So for those of you that maybe didn't catch the beginning of the day where we were going through the format, it is placements above 50th place are worth points, 5 points for every elimination. You can see the grayed out names on the sides of your screen are the players who have already been eliminated, and the big name really that we have to keep our eyes on throughout this game is Majin, but Bowman and Zeke are trading. Bowman's the one that gets those Klingers. A lot of damage down onto Zeke to start, and Zeke only 36 now, up to a little bit more health, but still a precarious position to be in.
It's going to be interesting to see what history does here. Is he going to dip out? It looks like he's hanging around for a while here, but Bowman stuck in the other side of these houses too. Going for a rotation instead, going to dip out of the fight by the looks of it. I think every player's taken their exit strategy, make sure they play for the late game. It's a wise move. There's a lot of money on the line.
And here we go, Majin. Speaking of playing for the late game, 1 by 1, doing backflips.
I mean,
doesn't have a drift board, so I don't think it counts. But it's nice, you know.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he does what he needs to do, and we're going to go back for that replay. The Klinger.
The double elimination off the Klinger. Post elimination.
And 72 hours picking up that lovely, lovely frag onto Envy there as well.
I'm expecting the mid-game perhaps to be a little bit slower, as this was one of Aiden's pickoffs by the looks of it. Did manage to get one for himself. I'm expecting this to be a little bit slower of a mid-game because it's the last game, the last opportunity to pick up placement points. So I know earlier today you were talking to Majin. I saw it before the tournament, you and him having a chat in the player area. Any words that he gave you about his goals coming into today? Because he sat at the top of the points.
What was really, really interesting talking to Majin is that, you know, he came into this with no game plan. And obviously, you know, the new season mixed it all up. And his plans were to, you know, get a plane, rotate, find somewhere that was actually safe on the map, and then loot. So he would always go for a plane first, find the safest available spot, and then work from that point. But his whole game plan has to change. And he happened to pick probably the best spot for him, the ice cream parlor by the racetrack at Paradise Palms. Like, perfect placement, no one really contesting there, and he had 3 opportunities to run away with.
Yeah, of course, had to adapt his game plan thanks to Season 8 Stormwing vaulting in the patch changes. Rizard's going to fall. Doesn't end up dying, not too high for that full damage to kick in, but Tux is here. Maybe he can pick off. That's a stink grenade. These are so good in these close quarters position. Just even if it doesn't get the kill, it forces him to move, and you can maybe pick up that elimination from the side. Look for that angle as Rizard is backing himself away. Tux is trading with Smeef a little bit here as well.
Yeah, getting a bit greedy there, Tux. Steady on, lad. Just find your own opponent first. I mean, very unlucky not to find that elimination there with the stink bomb there.
Another name that pops up in the action feed, Scram. He won one of our earlier games today. He's currently sat in 4th place. He would need a 50-point difference in his favor against Margin to take 1st place, and that would then depend on Vinny and Bizzle. So this is really the thing. You can have the best game, but if your opponents are still consistent and they're above you in the points, you might not be able to jump above them.
Rizard's coming back in for some action, but finds Smeef instead. Tux has gone for the low ground here and played it a little bit safe down there.
Is getting tracked all the way up. There's a bad smell in that building, and it might be you, Smeef, at this point, because it's following you all the way up with those stink grenades. And Smeef's going to say, no, I'm out of this one.
It's really hard to avoid those farts, Stress, and they keep coming. They keep on coming, and it's just, oh, the smell lingers for ages.
Rizard in a lot of danger now as he gets clipped from the side. Has a few bandages, so will he'll be able to heal that up. But now Smeef maybe is in a situation where he's the one that can put some damage out in response. But this is the slower mid-game. This is what we're expecting. 69 players remain in this game, and we are at Storm 2 out of 9 that is moving.
Yep. Smeef in a precarious situation here. He really wants to put this campfire down, and that's going to attract enemies to this location. They're going to know that he's low. Rizart has taken the sign. Maybe he's going to make a move with the pickaxe here, try and hack in his way. But he has to be careful of Smeef on the other side of this building as well.
Smeef knows he's coming in, and Smeef has shields. Like, that's the one thing that Rizart can't underestimate, is if this shot doesn't connect flush and just insta-eliminate, Rizart is going to feel the pain from Smeef, because Smeef, that campfire has basically expired now. So we're onto a replace fight. Gets the window, but a ramp in response. There's the spray down. Does get another shot from the pump. Tries the pyramid, and that's what we were talking about. Rizart takes the fight and ends up falling completely out at 69th place.
Smeef just having the advantage with the health stack there could take a shot to the face there, but slightly Riz whiffing it a little bit, I feel. But great stuff from Smeef there, playing very well on the defense.
Another big name on your screen right now. Right at the top, Solary Kinstar is currently in 5th place. He would need a 57-point difference between himself and Margin to end up taking 1st place. He put up a big performance in game number 2 and has been consistent throughout. I mean, it's doable, right? It's doable for Kinstar. He's one of the people that we said could catch with the right game.
It's really interesting. This is the strongest performance in a while that we've seen from Kinstar in solos. His duo performance is outrageously amazing. Like, top 5 pretty much every event that he plays in the skirmishes.
And what a tournament so far for Vinny, just signing with TSM not much longer than a few days ago, and a player that people are talking about so frequently. It was like, when are we going to see Vinny? When are we going to see him play? And what a performance. Currently only 6 points behind Margin. That is 2 eliminations difference, or that placement point. It's so close.
In the previous game, when you had that face-off between Margin and Vinny, right? They didn't really meet each other, but you could see how they were conflicting against each other in that action feed. Ooh. Because Vinny was popping off so much with some eliminations.
My heart is in my throat right now for Margin, who is traversing open ground to get into the zone. And he had Cloud, I believe as well, he had Scram around him. And that's the kind of position that if somebody has a sniper, it's one shot for the elimination, could very easily pick him off. That's why he was checking around.
It was very interesting.
Oh, is he going to hit Shinken? No.
He's going to try, though, go for those pirate plays. Yeet it out. But anyways, what's interesting about Margin is that he was already in the circle, but he wanted to rotate center. And there's less attention in the center. People are more focused on fighting towards the edges, so he was able to rotate for free there.
I'm still watching Gmo just try and utilize that cannon. Has built it in so that it doesn't blast off the floor behind him. He does have Animal closing in Tyovsky's there as well, as is Sinnoh, but just being annoying, really, more than anything with that cannon, breaking through the boundary, the walls as much as he can.
Alpha was just tagging away there at via Linen there, just trying to find some damage, but not really getting anything out of it apart from just wasting his AR ammo.
Aim Hero, you can see on the bottom side of your screen as well. Another one of our Victory Royale winners earlier today. Aim Hero is going to join in on the fun and try and put as much towards Shinken as he can. As Scram, as we said, had one, I think it was round 5 earlier, so in contention, but it would take a good performance. I feel like Seth had a good start to the day, for sure. And that's the thing, is the consistency really is the key, and it is so difficult across 7 rounds to be consistent. It takes a lot of mental fortitude and physical fortitude between it just to be able to keep placing in the late game every single time.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it was quite amazing in the previous game that Margin was able to do so much when he was getting pressured so much by Envy. He did a crazy smart play, actually using Dynamite to kill his launchpad to escape the incredibly bad situation that he got himself into.
New zone will show. Margin is, I believe, just inside, or is he just outside? No, he's outside. He has to run. And you have to think, for Margin, in this situation, he doesn't have the same view that we have. He can't see the eliminations of people like Vinny, of Bizzle. So he's having to manually track it down in that action feed and say, okay, have I seen them score? What do I need to do? Because even if I win and they're second place, I have to beat them on points.
I honestly don't think he's even worried about it at this stage. I think he's just going, you know, I'm going to get the late game, I'm going to play it cool, and I'll pop off at the end, and I'll worry about it then. And to be honest, you just got to play your own game. You can't expect, ooh, big damage there coming from Tux there, doing a little bit of a miss.
Vilex wasn't expecting that damage from above to come through. As much as that was a big trade, loses 60 health on that.
It's going to be fine though. He's going to shield up as best as he can.
Keolis finds another elimination for his third of the game. Of course, we're talking so much about who is going to be the eventual winner. As we said, the whole pack can change, and there is significant placement and earnings available, even for those that aren't in the top spot.
There's a lot of aggression here coming in on this build-off here, just on this mountain. Players finding each other, wanting to go in for the eliminations. Big damage received from Kilios there, and now he has to find a defensive strategy for himself. But Bizzle is still in the game, and he's still rocking it.
Yeah, History is beside him, and History certainly trying to get away from those stink bombs. Just hacked so much through with those stink bombs. Now look, dual pistols from the side. Somebody is trying to pick up anything that they can.
What's interesting about Ghost Bizzle right now, he hasn't had to rotate at all. He landed there, and he's still there to this day. It's just his favorite spot. He doesn't need to do anything. And look at his items because of it. He hasn't had to rotate. He hasn't had to use any of his healings. He's got the Rift to go to spare.
Looking to try and pick off Tyovsky. He's just using that compact SMG as much as possible. Now raining through with the blue AR, but he hasn't quite found the pick. Bizzle gets dropped on, and Bizzle is going to get picked off. Bizzle ends up falling to History. He turned his back, and that surely is such a drastic end for Bizzle this early on.
No way, Stress. History makes history. Oh my Jesus. Oh, that's insane. And also the Rift to go. There's so much loot there that Bizzle has saved up since the start of the game.
Bizzle turned his back, and there it is, 50 players eliminated. Bizzle was out of the placement points. So you have to feel like Bizzle, there's no way he can catch Margin. There's no way he can catch Vinny right now. So Bizzle is a maximum third place finish. But this game continues, and it's with Vinny that we are watching. One elimination to his name. That leaves him 1 point behind Margin before placement points are actually included.
This is going to go down to the wire. All depends on placement at the moment, but that could change. You never know, Margin could pick up an elimination here or there. So could Vinny. And Vinny on a little bit of a wide rotation, I feel.
Margin's on 0 eliminations for now. Zexro is here in this area, and let's not sleep on any of the competitors in this. It's not like Margin and Vinny are so clear that they aren't going to get picked off. We just saw it happen to Bizzle. Everybody is a lethal threat regardless of where they are on those standings, and at this point you can see a few of the other players that are alive. Jordan from the X2 Twins is alive. They've been doing decently well throughout this solos, but we're really waiting for the duos to see how the Twins perform. That's what we've seen them crush at, and as this storm starts to shrink, there are so many players, perhaps the largest field we've had today on this movement.
I am scared, Stress. I am very, very scared. Kinstar is still alive out there, and it worries me for Margin's future. It really does.
Well, we'll wait till it gets lower, because Hupek is going to try and pick one off in the air. Does get the spray down, and he got Norwood out of the air. Metro picks up 72 hours. That unfortunately calls an end to 72 hours Solo's performance as Metro continues. Yakos, our Polish winner, is still in there. Aiden is still in the left of your screen. You can see Boya in the middle of everything. There are so many contenders that could easily take the victory royale.
Very much so. We see Margin in the dead center of all this mess. Sino's getting actually a bit stunk on there in the corner, but he's going to recover just fine. I don't think he's going to get any more pressure. And Margin's, everybody is already on this corner. This is going to be a hectic push towards that next circle, Stress. Everybody is already facing that direction. And
Margin's just peeking. He doesn't know that it's Vivid in front of him, but like that's a matchup that everybody would want to see. Margin against Vivid at this point, but it's impossible for people to really call a lot of these engagements. Now, Bowman trying to just pick anybody out of the sky that he can. As Storm Surge warning does kick in, but Bowman is very much safe with the amount of damage he has done. He's trying to spin up that minigun, just preemptively doing it to get anything he can, but now he's got to move.
Yep, and he's going to try and maintain as much high ground as possible. I think he has some backup options there, and he's going to try and dish out as much damage as he can at the very back, getting a little bit of pressure there. Will he have to use any of his movement options spare? I think he's just going to keep running it and build as much as he can. Good pressure with the minigun, though, forcing his opponents down there.
Great pressure. Here's Margin. This is the dangerous move that he has to traverse perfectly in order to keep his lead. Doesn't swap to the shotgun in enough time to pick up an elimination, but he finds safety for now. So did a lot of people, but we are down to 28. A lot of our contenders are still up in this game, and nobody has found that key elimination to turn this game into their points' favor.
Butt cheeks are clenching here, Stress. Very much so. As a Brit, I have tea in celebration after this if he manages to pull it off.
It definitely is not Margin's game. It is not a safe game for him at all, as he has to keep eliminations on top of it as well. Points leader, but only by 6, means it could be easy for Vinny to jump up. The player from the USA could very well end up taking this if he can get a few eliminations. Margin traversing upwards. Where is Vinny? I'm trying to track him down. We see he's using the balloon, single balloon strategy to try and get as much height in the late game. 40 builds is where he's at.
Margin making it.
Edit does get a lot of damage down, gets the elimination, actually picks up Jordan, one of the X2 twins, runs into another one. Margin has to stay alive if he wants the hope to actually stay in this at first, but he's taking storm damage as well. He's eliminated. Zexro gets him, and it's now all on Vinny. If Vinny can put up enough points, surely this has to be it. Vinny just needs to stay in for a victory royale, and then depending on the rest of the field, it all depends on how much the other players around him are scoring. I don't think we can call a clear winner at the end of this game.
Jarko's having that high ground, as we saw earlier on. He has been mastering it every game. I don't know how he gets up there so consistently all the time. And now taking pot shots at everybody that's flying.
That's Vinny! Vinny drops in on Jarkos, and Vinny needs to pick this one up. Vinny needs everything that he can to be able to stay through, but surely he has done enough to at least unseat Margin. It's all about the rest of the field. Vinny ends up dying. Vinny is gone out of this one. So that's Bizzle, Vinny, and Margin gone. Somebody could steal this from behind. Who have we got? Animal is here. Boyer is here. Madsen goes down. That was a double elimination pickup with 6 players left.
Oh, it's absolutely crazy. Who's up the very top? That's Zayt up the top with the high ground. He's playing it extra slow, playing it very safe. But that rocket launcher will change that situation with Shino doing some big damage onto Zayt.
4 players left, and this is all about climbing the rest of the standings. The battle for first has pretty much all been decided, and with 3 players left, it is all about final placements. Shinken drops down. Sinnoh ends up picking up 1, and Animal is going to win the game. The final victory royale of the solos competition is picked up by Animal.
Animal doing fantastic work there, Stress. I mean, he had a bit of a slow performance today in the solos, but, you know, we saw him yesterday in the duo practice. These guys, they were going next level. 2 wins back-to-back in the practice.
Yeah, they, in the practice, performed very well, now coming through with the victory royale, and you know, it's not too late to be climbing the standings here. That was a big game out of Animal to kind of jump his way up. The real key thing is, we really don't know who's won.
I know, it's so tense right now. I'm so hoping. I'm so hoping.
I don't have a horse in this race.
Fingers are very much crossed at the moment, gentlemen, for you. I mean, what a finish. The fact that we've come right down to the end there. Massive congratulations to Animal, we must say, for the victory royale at the end. But we do not know our winner off the top of our heads. We have no idea still. Someone do some quick maths.
Bizzle got eliminated early. That's what we know. I really don't think it can be Bizzle.
He was out of the placements.
He was out of placement points. So it's did Vinny outperform Margin enough on placements, and did everybody, Scram, Keenstar, Item, Blacks, Aries, did they all fail to pick up enough points to unseat Vinny, or will Vinny have done it? Oh,
it's going to be a lot of people in the back at the moment, a lot of League Ops guys tapping away on calculators, double checking, triple checking, making sure that it's right. So we get you guys the correct winner, of course. But I mean, what a finish it was, gents. I mean, we couldn't have asked for a better day of solos here in our international tournament. Everyone has turned up. They've given us heartache. They've given us incredible plays. I mean, it came down to a game number 7 with so many players still in contention, as we obviously have the replays coming in from that last game. But I love the fact that after all is said and done, a little bit like Test cricket, they played 7 games here. we still don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who's won.
Yeah, we don't know who's won. We saw a few big pickups from Aries. As you said, Bizzle ended up dropping out. I think we'll probably end up seeing that as part of a replay package. But, I mean, the competition is pretty close between a lot of the countries that have come here, right? I mean, we've got American players fighting for the top. We've got European players. And just in general, I think it's been really exciting to see different play styles, especially in solos as well.
Oh, definitely. And it was quite an upset earlier on as well, with Bizzle just dropping out of the top 50. Like,
Yeah.
he had
It came out of nowhere as well, by
It did.
elimination. He was so focused on that player in front of him, and then bang.
And that's what, like, the importance, especially in solos, is